The What It Takes Radio Company presents TED Talks. That's right, TED Talks, but not quite the TED Talk that you are expecting. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan Houston once again, and this is another edition of Interesting Ideas. We're trying to help you live a better life right now. We're also trying to help you perhaps build a business right now, because here's what's happening. More and more of us are going to have various other streams of income. We cannot depend on the job that we have. We cannot depend on the loyalty of the company we work for. Increasingly, and of course, unfortunately, we are going to have to depend more and more on ourselves, and maybe that's not unfortunately at all. More and more, perhaps we will take greater opportunities, greater risks, and more responsibility for doing the things that we have to do to make life work for us. So I'm always encouraging people to live that way, look that way, walk that way, self-express yourself. As we said in our talks about the new year, the idea of being very good at self-expression is going to be very, very important for you. Increasingly, the AI is not going to do nearly what people think it will do. But of course, the fact is that robots, they're kind of robots like rodents. Robots are going to do a lot of other things. Right now, they're talking about the automobile strike here in the United States, where a number of people who are employed by the plants, they're walking out, and they're afraid. They're afraid that they're not going to be making enough money. They're afraid that they're going to lose their jobs. Well, the problem is that unless you can find a way of not being replaced by just another person, or perhaps by a robot who never asks for higher wages and never strikes, you are in a situation that is tough to be in. It's not going to be easy to live in the future. It's not. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. And we'd like to help you spiritually, which is most importantly, emotionally, that's important, how you feel, and performance-wise, and how you can do what you do and do it so well that people want to work not for what you do, but who you are in what you do. I can have a lot of people who could be bankers for me, but I want a very special banker. There are a lot of people who could work on my car, but I want to have someone that I really know and trust to work on my car. In effect, the success of life and business is up to you. And so we preach that, we teach that, we try to live by it, but it's something you have to discover on your own. But I am continually now, because I'm working on a number of projects, and I'm trying to teach them something which they don't really want to do. Okay, let's put it this way. We make an agreement that we're going to work together, and obviously we're not necessarily working in the same office anymore. We're not even working in the same country anymore. We are scattered and separated, and we're trying to do what we can with other projects, but of course we have to keep in touch with the project that we are working on. Well, in many, many cases, it's not working because people do not know this very important idea. Very important. And let me tell you the story behind it. A number of years ago, one of my clients was recommended to me and him to me by a colleague that was in the same insurance kind of business. And so it just so happened that John and I became good friends, and he was the owner of a small insurance firm, and we worked together, and we achieved a great deal, and we worked very hard and went through some agony and ecstasies. I remember the time on a Sunday night when he called me and said, "Oh my God, so-and-so just quit. What are we going to do?" And I said, "I'll be there. 150, 170 miles to Duluth from Minneapolis. I'll be there tomorrow morning. We'll get it fixed." Well, we didn't fix it, but we fixed a number of other things that were far better. You see, this person had the habit from time to time of trying to get her way because she had a lot of very vital responsibilities, and she used them to get her way. And so she had often threatened to quit if she didn't get her way, and because, what are you going to do, they tended to work with her way. Well, what she did is she sent an email that she was quitting. And when I got there on Monday morning, I asked him, I said, "Well, how did she let you know she was quitting?" I said, "Well, did she tell you?" He said, "No, she wrote an email." I said, "She wrote an email?" "Yeah." He said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "We're going to accept it. We're going to accept that resignation." And we did. And she was flummoxed beyond belief. Now, there's a happy ending to that story, but it was not a happy day for her. But guess what? It turned out to be a very good thing for the company, because we worked from there, and the thing that we created out of the vacuum that was there was far better than what we'd had before, and we wouldn't have actually been able to do that unless she had been quitted, and she did it to herself. I remember it was after that, John asked me to come up for breakfast. And there was a social club that many of the businessmen and women in the Duluth Superior area attended. It was a little upper class. It was very historic. It's where the businessmen of when the great iron ore, the great era of the Iron Range industry, where a lot of money was made and businesses were built, that's where they would come together for their social time. And so it was a club of almost 100 years. He said, "Meet me at the club." And I knew exactly. I've been there before, went up there, and there's a breakfast room where the men and women of the time, they have breakfast served to them. And I walked in. He was sitting at the table in the corner, and he waved to me and said, "Hey, come on over." Sat down. And I said, "Thank you." And he said, "Well, this is a very important table for me." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yes. This is the very same table that my father, who built his company, this is where he and his partner would meet every morning for breakfast." Now, the reason the story had some strong elements is that John had then taken over his father's business, but at the same time, the entire economy of the Iron Range at that time had collapsed, and he lost his dad's business. Well, a lot of businesses were lost. What happened was next that he then went on and started this firm, bought it out from other partners, and it was very successful. And he said, "Well, the reason this table is very important to me is because I learned a very important principle." He said, "Every day, my father and his partner, without exception, unless there was some emergency or they were out of town or something, but every day they sat down together and collected their thoughts, and every day they talked about their business and how they were going to make it a better day." They showed up early for breakfast. Then, after they had done that, they walked together to their office. And he said, "I've learned that if you're in business with somebody, You need to be in touch with them every day. Well, as a result of that, I'm insisting on what I call TED Talks. Not the TED Talks that you're used to, the 20-minute speeches. Of course, those are important, and it's a fun model for you and me. I've done some of those, and I've done hundreds of those that weren't officially TED Talks, but they were still a 20-minute presentation. And put it on the internet and see how it goes. But I decided right now that I'm going to have to call for more TED Talks. Okay? Here it is. If you're in partnership, if you're in relationship, if it's significant to you, TED. Talk every day. Don't text. Don't type. Talk every day. More and more, I'm telling people that here's a tip. Talk in person. Now, it might be on the phone, but we need to hear voices. We need to have a conversation. We need to build relationships. And the most significant way you do that is you talk to one another and you listen to the other. And those are things that are vital to human communication and to career and business success. And in our texting and typing and social media culture, we are losing one of the key elements that make for life and business success. What would it be like in my marriage if we didn't talk every day? What would happen with my children if, at least while they're home, we didn't talk every day? Well, that's the kind of rule I'm beginning to enforce with the people who are in partnership with me. And they're having a hard time with it. Well, can't we talk once a week? No, that's not good enough. We have to talk every day. Tell me something every day. Now, you could just maybe leave a message on the phone, something like that, and I might not be able to get back to you, but every day we talk. And we connect, and we listen, and we learn. And every day we learn something about how we can do that day and the next day better. So that's my new motto. TED Talks. Yes, talk every day. I'm Stan Houston. Interesting ideas. Thank you for your time. This time on the radio, but we're also putting this on the television. And so you can listen to it either way. However, I would encourage you either way, walk, talk, in some way, get in touch with me because I can help you in a variety of ways to build your business and to make life better now. Reach out to me at stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. And remember, we talk every day. The new TED Talks. All the best and blessings, and always close your talk with a benediction. Say something good, something blissful, something that encourages, something that makes a person have a good thought, a good feeling about the talk you just had. Take care. I'll be back. I'll hopefully be there to help you to perform at your best and live at your best and to do it every day. Bye for now.